I got respect for Max. Think about trying to be a professional musician on Tatooine. I mean, come on. Okay. You tip your cap. I got a feeling he's got a day job. I'm just saying. He's probably fixing pod racers or something during the day. Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here talking about the Book of Boba Fett. Season 1, Episode 1. Stranger in a Strange Land. We open with Boba Fett in a Bacta-tank, flashing back to important moments in his life. We see Kamino. We see him as a child, holding the helmet of his recently decapitated dad. We see him escape from the Sarlacc pit, which, Patton Oswalt, hilarious
yes.
Parks and Rec filibuster, prophetic, as it turned out. We end with another flashback in the Bacta-tank. This one ends with Boba, a prisoner of the Tusken Raiders, saving the chieftain's son, I believe, and gaining the chieftain's respect, symbolized by the chieftain personally offering Boba some water. Paul, what did you think of Episode 1?
I liked it. It's within the same genre, I feel, as The Mandalorian.
Sure.
In that we're getting a little bit of man versus nature, which I guess you could argue is actually just Star Wars. I like how they're building up Boba Fett's character, and the whole idea about we're gonna, I think, start to learn how he developed, a sense of wanting to live a life different than he lived before. So, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, we get this. I mean, these episodes are short, like The Mandalorian, and we get this idea of the rebirth of Boba. He comes out of the Sarlacc pit and he, goes through these trials and tribulations. But something that you were just talking about, how it's that man versus nature, and it's kind of similar to The Mandalorian in that way. It's similar to something else that I didn't pick up on necessarily with The Mandalorian.
The man with no name?
Yeah, good point. Especially seeing Boba sitting on the throne, kind of brooding on the throne.
Sure.
Made me think of the end of the movie Conan the Barbarian.
Okay.
So at the end of that movie, the final shot of the 1982 version that Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Did you try hard enough to find a Lord of the Rings reference?
Hang on, I can do that. Damn it! Anyway, okay. No, this is more Conan than Lord of the Rings. So It shows the final shot of the Arnold Schwarzenegger version shows him kind of an older version of Conan sitting kind of brooding on a throne, very Boba-like. And the narration says something like, eventually he became a king by his own hand, but that is another story. And the more I think about it, the more I feel like this is taking inspiration from those Conan stories. You've got, as a child, even the movie version, Conan witnesses the decapitation of his parent. He becomes a slave. He becomes a soldier of fortune. He kills all these bizarre creatures in these one-on-one duels.
Okay.
And it's all in this kind of austere Tatooine-like landscape, kind of roughly the same. I'm not gonna say the same tech, but the same kind of I use armor and chains and I beat things with my bare hands.
Okay.
So anyway, I feel like there's a Boba Conan kind of a symmetry going on here.
Okay.
And the thing about Conan, Boba, and I would add in Din Djarin, I suppose, is they're all these stoic loners, right? So leading a crime syndicate, playing politics and doing crafty manipulations does not feel like it's in Boba's skill set. Or it was certainly, So that's where I think the story is headed, showing how Boba, unsuited for this job, can actually find a way to either succeed or maybe realize it's a bad idea and hand it off maybe to Fennec Shand or something like that. But I feel like that's where it's almost like a fish out of water. What if you had a stoic loner? And he's got to suddenly become a really connected crime boss. Go! Anyway, it was a little observation. I don't
know. I mean, I feel like dramatically, it doesn't make sense to me to the Book of Boba Fett and then handing off this responsibility. I mean, I guess it's possible that it's a grander plan than that, and that if he were to do something else, the show would follow him. But it seems to me that they may be cutting off the nose despite the face. This is a substantially different type of story than The Mandalorian. The whole thing about, okay, how am I going to navigate this process? Like, that it's like they're setting you up to like, okay, no, this is the show, because he's like, how can I do this, responsibly and moralistically, so you can root for me and buy toys of me.
Right. Now that's interesting. We do see him winning through compassion and kindness a few different times in this episode. Like he spares the 2 Gamorreans. Like, look, if I don't kill you, will you serve me? And then later on, they save his life.
Yes.
We see him spare the life of the disrespectful messenger.
Yes.
When the big fight scene happens, it's a surprise attack. He doesn't initiate it. He's just defending himself. Right. And so they are kind of trying to do this like kinder, gentler crime lord thing. And I feel like at some point he's either going to have to embrace, crime lord has the word crime in it. And he does call himself a crime lord in this episode.
I mean, in the world of Star Wars, there's not a very strong society, that it's like they haven't even established yet what he's a warlord, really. This crime lord
is he a governor, or is he?
Yeah, basically, right. It's like they haven't established any greater political force around him other than, I guess, the mayor or whatever.
Right, they had the mayor of Mos Espa, I guess, or that's the town he was in anyway.
Right. But it doesn't seem like it's I guess we need some sort of understanding of the laws of.
Well, it'll be interesting, right? Good point. Like, I feel like the Boba that we knew pre coming out of the Sarlacc pit, Boba, probably faced with a moral decision, maybe makes a few decisions that would be like, oh, okay, kill first, ask questions later, kind of thing, or something. So it'll be, if this Boba is indeed trying to find a better way, it'd just be interesting to see if that ends up, Fennec even brings it up, like, you're going to have to figure out how to do this, because you're not, this isn't the way. And so is the new way better? Does it work? Does the kinder, gentler way work? Or in this kind of somewhat savage territory, does that come back to bite him? That's the story will tell, I suppose.
Right.
But you brought up a good point, though, which I'm interested in a little bit, is why Boba decided to kill Bib Fortuna and take over. It seemed like a bid for power, right? Like he's gonna. But is that something we've seen him do before? Like usually, as I say, stoic loner. Hey, I go out. I'm just on my own. I kill people. Right. Like here, he's like, no, I'm gonna go kill the current crime lord and take over. I feel like we're gonna learn something about why. And,
sure. I mean, it does seem to set up the fact that during the, being taken in under the Tuscans, that he learned something, and I think that's what we're going to see slowly. It's like, actually, this is more like Kung Fu. Where,
good point. That's a
great he gets into a fight. That's what it's going to be, I think,
Well, interesting, too, is we do have this moment in this episode where the whatever you want to call him, the son of the chieftain, the prince,
yes,
is taking him to go dig in the sand, and they come upon this settlement that's being attacked apparently by gangsters,
right?
And then they just leave it. I thought, we'll go get supplies, but no, they don't. So maybe it's a Boba over time is seeing the inequities based on these roving gangsters. Maybe they do something bad to the Tuscans. Maybe he feels like, I could do a better job at this. And so I'm going to take over and try to make this a better situation. Maybe that's the arc of why. I don't know. I suppose it's just like, hey, I can make more money if I kill that guy.
Right. Yeah, I guess, I guess even just hanging out with the Tuscans is not necessarily pointing a path like, these Tuscans are kind of like those crime lords. It's like, but certainly one of the messages of Star Wars is the broader thing that you find in a lot of stories, which is let's work together to get a better society and not be so cutthroat. And clearly, you can say his current actions are falling more into that capacity, and that's certainly something he could learn from the Tuskens, and that they're tough but fair.
Right, gotcha. And since we do in The Mandalorian, we see him, he's using a Tusken weapon. We first see him in the desert watching the ship take away. Obviously, they have some kind of respect for him now by the end of this episode.
Right, yes.
And I feel like his relationship with the Tuskens is going to be fairly amicable, basically.
Yeah, he didn't, at the end of the episode, he wasn't leaving them.
Right. He could easily have left, after even he saves the kid. He could have been like, all right, kid, I saved your life. So long. Yeah, right. He mentions like, oh, I've got contacts. We can get off world to Greedo 2, or I should say McClunky Jr. But McClunky Jr., we hardly knew ye. Yeah, he met a terrible end there.
That's true.
Interesting creature. I looked it up. I guess it's not. It's a new creature.
Oh,
it's not in the pantheon of previously identified critters. So we've got he's got to fight the critter. We saw that in The Mandalorian as well, right? Oh,
we did. That's what we saw.
Yeah, it says no crate dragon, but it's still fearsome.
So, and they introduced us to somebody who will obviously be important later on, Jennifer Beals. Here it was sort of blink and you'll miss her. But obviously, I mean, she's going to be an important character going forward, I would say. Unless she's just one of those fans who are like, I'll just be one episode.
Good point, little cameo. Something I loved. Max Rebo's got a new gig. Well done, Max Rebo. So, obviously his former employer, Jabba, not available to give him gigs anymore. And now we see him playing at this upscale casino in Mos Espa. As a comedian trying to get gigs in a place like Chicago, I got respect for Max. Think about trying to be a professional musician on Tatooine. I mean, come on. Okay. You tip your cap. I got a feeling he's got a day job. I'm just saying. He's probably fixing pod racers or something during the day, but there he is playing his music. I'm like, good on you. In a desert?
Some sort of Tatooine bookie or something?
Right. Who's his agent? I was like, good job, Max. I liked that little callback. That was great. Fight scene was a little McClunky. I thought it was a little slowly paced.
Wow.
But I liked the parkour Tatooine thing where they were jumping across the rooftops.
Yeah, that was good. I liked the way Fennec had to hunt them down and overtake them.
Also, we see her making some of the crime lord style choices where he tells her like, alive. And so then she says, well, I don't need both of them alive.
Yes.
Kills one, takes the other one. So so she's a little more, on the evil side.
Come on, you want to rank her properly D&D style.
That's right.
Go ahead.
What? I'm going to go neutral evil.
Okay.
Is she lawful evil? I don't know if she's lawful evil.
Chime in on the comments.
Yeah, what are our alignments for Boba and Fennec?
Yeah.
I mean, she's a friend when it comes to time, so that's the part where I'm like, maybe lawful evil would be more appropriate. So we'll go with that, and we're going to go with chaotic neutral for Boba. There you go.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
All right.
So
you don't want to rank UK2B?
Is UK2B the name of that droid that was in there? He's wishing he had a protocol droid. I like that.
Yes, that was
like,
yeah.
Oh man, I have no idea what that guy was saying. That was good. The little, it was a comedic bit, but the messenger kind of doing his like, oh, I see there was a misunderstanding. It played for laughs. I enjoyed it. I was picturing that guy getting that job. Like the mayor going, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go up to Boba Fett and I want you to tell him, I'm not coming, I ain't giving him crap, and I want a tribute from him. Now go get him. Like, oh God, okay. So with that in mind, he pulled it off.
He didn't seem to be afraid or anything. So
he didn't seem to. That's what I was wondering. If maybe he's channeling
good at hiding it. I think he's, I think the reason why he's confident delivering that message is that he agrees with that message, which is sort of like, you aren't established here.
I'm just thinking he's unarmed, and Fennec says, "Should I kill him?" Meaning,
right, but
it's an option.
Yeah, Fennec, right? Fennec is has the correct attitude. Well, I shouldn't say correct attitude, but yeah, she's
Evo.
right. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just saying, if you're walking into Crime Lord with bad news, and you're by yourself. You might. I would think you might. Yeah, be
but I don't feel like he registered any fear at that. Oh, I guess.
Okay. All right. You think he's just like blissfully ignorant, basically, in some ways, of like his own potential mortality in that moment.
Well, I mean, he has a better understanding of the world at that time than he does than Boba Fett does. He's been away, so I think he knows about the power of his boss. All
right. Very good then. Okay, I take it back. I thought he was just being a good actor. You're saying no. I
think they're setting us up, as a potential, obstacle for, obviously, he's Boba's not exerting himself in that situation. He's like, okay.
Well, somebody sent that a force to attack him. I kind of got that it might be the mayor. He says another delegation will be approaching you or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that might have been
right. Yeah, you're right. It might have been. Yeah. So right. So it just in that little interchange there, that fight that didn't solve anything.
Nope.
So,
but they captured the guy, so still they're going to interrogate a guy.
Right. Yeah. So they have to still deal with that situation. So the fact that if I was somebody who was working for somebody who was powerful, and it's like, okay, give them a message, and then let them know if they don't like it, then some other people will go and kill them. I wouldn't feel that nervous. It's like maybe he doesn't know that Boba's in this, I will, I'm trying to rule honorably, so maybe that would even tip the scale even further, like, you stupid fool.
Right. I do, in his effort to unify, govern Tatooine, I suppose, the one thing he being Boba now has in that perhaps the Hutts didn't have is he's going to, I assume, have the support of the Tusken Raiders in a way that I don't think the Hutts had their support. I mean, I don't think they were a kill them on sight or anything like that, but I think they were like, we're an independent operator, and maybe when in need, Boba can call on the Tuskens to help him out. They could be a...
Perhaps. I mean, in this way, it's reminding me of Dune, in the way that they had to, start to forge an alliance with the people of the planet.
The people of the desert.
Right. I mean, we've never seen any good government on that planet, so, there's a lot of potential for something to happen.
Yeah.
For any improvement.
That's right. That's right. The bar is low.
Yes.
Hey, you made a road. Yay!
It's like, wow, this year there were less people killed.
Less people killed. Slightly
30% less. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Typically, we have to rehire a guy to count the people who died and calculate how many people died. This year, he's still alive.
They're still around.
Yeah.
Our census takers survived.
Yeah.
Check plus.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, short episode. It gave us a little bit of the backstory. I think we're going to fill in more of that backstory as we get more flashbacks.
Oh, yeah. See more of those Jawas who took the stuff.
Right. What's their backstory? What's Max Rebo's bass player? What's his backstory?
Yeah.
I loved going back to Tatooine. I thought, visually it was fun to see that. It does have a Mandalorian feel, certainly. I think some people have even called it like Mandalorian 2.5 or something like that. But and we may see the Mandalorian. We may see Din Djarin show up in this. But anyway, I'm interested in seeing where they go with it.
Sure, me too.
As I said, I think it's a little bit of fish out of water right now. You've got the stoic loner trying to play politics. So I'm interested to see where they go with that.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody. And we'll be back talking about episode 2. Yeah. Thank you, Paul, as always.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.